We're going to be on set.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jacoby.
Hello, Miss Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm good, except as you well know, they're repaving the parking lot here.
A portion, yes.
And it at least gives you an opportunity to kind of get a tar high. But
Did you?
A little bit.
I saw somebody
brought back
there.
some very bad days of when I was feathered as well, and they ran me out of town. That must be an awful thing to happen if you think about it.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, no, it's terrible. Yeah, because then the feathers stick to you forever.
The feathers stick to you.
It probably takes...
Normally, the feathers could be a fashion statement.
It probably takes months
to
get those feathers off.
So you'd have to molt.
I think you would have to try to molt. Absolutely.
I'm still tired from Tuesday night when I was at a party with the Democratic people, and we were actually doing the conga.
Were you doing
guilty,
the conga?
Guilty.
Oh, wow.
Guilty,
really
guilty.
Partying.
That was fun.
Good
that
for
was,
you.
Not that it'll make any difference to anyone, but...
lots of partying.
Yeah.
Good.
So look who's here.
I know, finally.
Yeah, he knows.
Brandon's
of course
here.
you know. It's you.
Brandon
here.
knows that he's here.
He knows he's
It's
here.
good that you know where you are.
Yeah,
It'd be kind of scary if you didn't know where you were.
Where am I?
You were looking around. I'm not
I
sure.
think you're doing your 420 show again.
Man.
So anyway, I'm going from here to the Giants game.
Oh, my God.
wow, good for you.
No, it's good for the Yankees.
So you are going, you're going from here
Here
to
to my son's in San Jose, and
Okay.
then we're driving or taking a train, I don't know.
How exciting.
Super fun.
What a long day it's going to be, because the game's not until 7.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, welcome to Racing
fun.
Standards. Good show today. We'll talk to our dear friend Jim Dotson, author of Final Rounds, Arnold Palmer's autobiography, and Ben Hogan's story, who lives near Pinehurst, where the U.S. Open is in a couple of weeks, and he's doing a podcast. So we'll welcome him to our wonderful world and talk a little golf. Got great weekend liner notes of Diana Krall. It was interesting, and I wasn't here. Was I here last week? I don't think I was.
I don't think you were either.
Well, I don't know
No,
if you
you're
guys
not.
know this, but do you know you cannot copyright a song title?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know
and
that.
I learned this a few years ago. You and I were doing a show at the old Mother Station, and I wanted to play Time After Time, Sammy Kahn's tune, and it turned out to be Cyndi Lauper's version. Or tune.
interesting.
And apparently you cannot copyright the tune. So I'm doing a weekend liner notes last week to a great standard called Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Okay, cool.
Which,
Wow.
well, yeah, that's right. Green Day's version. I had no idea. Well, I saw they did it. I said, this will be really cool, but it's a different song.
Very hip.
Yeah.
Very hip you are.
So as a follow-up, since my daughter being on the air here with the F-bomb, that's the first punk rock song I've done on weekend liner notes. So this week we're doing the version that I know by Diana Krall of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So what's new with you, big guy? Didn't you go to the A's game last week?
No, that was the week before.
Really? All this
blends
excitement.
together.
We were talking about the rich smell of tar outside.
Oh, yeah.
Where did you park?
Oh, by the mall.
The mall.
You parked
Isn't
by
that
the
a long
mall?
way?
Yeah. I couldn't find, so I tried parking on Gross, but I couldn't find any parking on Gross.
Yeah.
So then I just looped around the block. I almost went home, and then I was like, there should be parking at the mall.
Did you try parking on
I
Geese?
appreciate that about Brandon, though. He shows up to this thing every week.
He does.
And today it was like, well, parking, I almost went home, which I love. You are so practical.
You probably could have parked at home. Probably been easier.
You're like, I'm out of here.
Did you notice an empty lot across the street?
Well, I just don't want to get towed.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks. That'll give me something to
awesome,
think about for the next
That's
hour.
awesome. Well, we can see it from here. You can keep looking
Yeah,
outside.
we can see the truck.
You need to be on guard, actually, because I parked over there because you were parked over there. Therefore, you need to be on guard.
But you know how charming I am. I was going to go in.
I want to see it.
I was going to say, would you mind terribly? But they're not there. So I broke the door and went through their stuff. Is that charming? Like, maybe that's not charming.
No, you're fine.
Anyway. So it's new. You haven't watched...
I haven't watched anything.
What am I going to ask you now that you have Netflix? Have you watched Unfrosted?
Oh, yes, I have watched
Did you like it?
I loved it.
See?
The cast is great.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it's gotten terrible reviews.
What?
Oh, yes. But I think we mentioned that Hugh Grant plays Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, that's great.
And he said, they're good. And so he says, nah, it's not going to work. We'll take a break. He goes, that's great. You go, wait.
Who would like country squares anyway?
Yeah, it is very funny. And you're too young, but every toy from my childhood is in it. And then every major event, there's a takeoff on it.
Yeah, like JFK and stuff like that.
And the mascots are angry. They're going on strike. And so they storm the building of Kellogg's, just like January 6th. And the backstory is the chairman of the board of Kellogg's has the hots for the chairman of the board of Post. And then and then take off on The Godfathers, all the families get together to discuss.
Oh yeah,
things.
that's like the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, I'm going to check it out. So you saw it, Brando.
Oh yeah,
and you loved it.
Yeah, we watched it with a big group of us.
Did you watch it at Jacoby's referral? Did you listen to him say that, it's a good movie, and then go watch it subsequently after?
Partially.
I like it. That's good. You're having an effect.
The good news is we could edit that confusing part out.
Yeah.
But the bad news is we'd be down to a 48-minute show. So
I know. It's supposed to be.
So are you watching anything?
It's kind of
because you're working. You're studying.
This show is kind of like a riddle.
Yeah,
it is. It's good. It's
wrapped
like
in an enigma.
It's like, oh my God. So you watch. Okay, because that was Erica Jane's tagline on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But you heard
that was
from
JFK. Right.
Yep. And I'm an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Cool. Exactly.
I like it.
Exactly where they who played David Ferry? It was the little guy from Goodfellas.
Oh.
The little guy from Goodfellas?
Yeah, you think I'm funny? You think I'm funny? You know who it was.
No, I don't know.
He was also, don't look, he won.
Not Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
Oh, it was Pesci?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And where he had the painted eyebrows on in the movie.
Yeah.
And he was with Kevin Bacon.
Okay, cool.
It was very strange.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
So, anyway.
So what else is going on? You're going to the Yankee game. Are you dressed? I mean, where's your jersey? Are you wearing?
No, it's shirts and skins. So I decided.
Why are you wearing a suit to the game? You should be wearing a suit. You should be wearing a jersey.
No, I'm wearing my cargo pants in case I have to jump out of a plane. I need a lot of pockets.
Your boots and your cargo pants.
This will probably come back to haunt me, but I always wear the cargo pants when I go to Safeway or Nob Hill, and I always steal serrano peppers.
Do you?
Well, I put them in my pocket. Yeah, I guess I steal them. I put them in my pocket.
You do?
And I come home, and inevitably I tell my wife, whoa, they had another special on serrano peppers.
Oh my
She goes, you're going to get caught one of these days.
Oh, yeah, she probably don't like that. How are you at Costco? Are you cruising
samples?
Well,
you know, what's the other place I'm going to get caught? Is it Costco, and why?
Well, that's a different story. I meant, are you cruising the samples at Costco?
I got turned off to Costco samples the day that I said to my son, have you tried the ceviche? He goes, it's Costco ceviche. I went, oh, yeah, you're right.
I mean, Costco's got
Costco has great
stuff.
meats.
They've got some great meats.
Yeah, they have good deals.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of great meats, Brian.
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's doing all right.
Okay,
Los Gatos
good.
Meats in Capitola. And I came up with the ultimate advertising campaign for him. The campaign is going to be, the print ads will say, looking for the perfect sandwich? Meet me in Capitola. MEAT.
Very good.
How good is that?
That's pretty good.
And then it'll be
Very good.
lunch, meet me at the beach.
Very good.
Yeah, so I've got that going for me.
Very, very good.
So anyway, we're going to talk to Jim Dotson in just a few. I've got some Leon Redbone. Who's
Yeah, I
kind of
have it
fun.
right here.
Play a little bit of that. You're listening to Raising the Standards, the Internet's finest hour.
Anywhere.
What? Yet? Come in. Who's there? What? Yeah. Where's that careless chambermaid? What you do with my razor blade? She misplaced it, I'm afraid, 'cause it's got to be found. Ask her when she cleaned my room what you did with my perfume. I can't lose it, I got to use it. Lulu's back in town. Got to get my old tuxedo pressed. Got to sew a button on my vest, 'cause tonight I got to look my best. Lulu's back in town. Got to find $50 somewhere. Shine my shoes and slick my hair. Get a fresh boot and L. Lulu's back in town. You can tell all your pets, all your blondes and brunettes. We lip up, doo-doo-doo-doo. Well, I just won't be around. Tell the mailman not to call. I won't be back until the fall. But I'll get back at over Lulu's back in town. You can tell all your pets, all your blondes and brunettes. Woo-dee-dee-doo-bop-doo-doo-doo. Well, I just won't be around. Well, tell the mailman not to call. I won't be back until the fall. Better get back at all, 'cause Lulu's back in town. Lulu's back in town. Back in town.
Tuxedo pressed. Got to sew a button on my vest tonight. I got to look my best. Lulu's back in town. Who'd you say you thought he sounded like?
Oh, he sounded like Jack Johnson.
He does a little bit. He does.
It's like guitar.
Yeah,
That's what makes it big of it.
He did. Do you know Leon Redbone?
No.
Leon Redbone, I think, did. I think he did a couple of spots for Tide. Oddly enough.
Huh.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a Looney Tunes kind of guy. He has
I can
passed,
see that.
but he had that kind of that sound.
Yeah.
But do you remember Leon Redbone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
We used to have a
Good
guy, an old friend of mine that I can't think of his name. That's how close we were, but he's since passed. But he was a huge Leon Redbone fan. I think we had him on the air a couple of times talking about that. Mm-hmm. So how did you guys spend Memorial Day?
Barbecuing.
Barbecuing?
A lot
What
of
did you
barbecue.
barbecue?
Oh, one day we did steak. Another day I did bacon wrapped hot dogs. And another day... I can't remember what
I was going to say in that order. First,
Bacon wrapped hot dogs. Okay, so tell me how you do that. You take the hot dog, you
wrap
take
it
raw
in
bacon,
bacon.
raw bacon, raw hot dog.
Uh-huh.
And then
well,
you-
hot dogs are already cooked.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
hot dogs, by definition, are already cooked, aren't
Yeah,
they?
exactly.
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
definition.
By definition, hot dog.
Well,
Yeah, they're already. So hot dogs are already
Wow.
cooked, but then you just wrap it in bacon and you put it on the grill.
just throw it on the grill.
Yeah, 15 minutes later, you have a bacon wrapped hot
And then you
dog.
put a bun around it,
Yes, I do.
and then mustard.
Yes.
Ketchup?
No. My
Okay.
family's
Mayonnaise.
from Chicago.
That's right. That's good
Relish.
thinking. That's good. Relish. I like relish on a hot
Yeah,
dog.
relish is good.
Sauerkraut.
Oh, my friends are sauerkraut people. I'm not as much of a sauerkraut guy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Rachel has a clipboard.
Well, I don't know anything
Check,
about this
check,
stuff. You
check.
know, I'm not a.
Anybody calling in?
Nobody yet.
You
Nobody
just
yet.
tell me when
But that
we do.
doesn't mean that they won't call
I'll tell you something. I had quite a night with the Vandals, all my dogs last night, who all of a sudden went crazy and ran out the back door and underneath the house. And it was an extraordinary fight going on. I don't know what it was, and I heard a lot of hissing. So it might have been a really angry older woman, or a cat, or maybe even a big cat, because I came outside and something jumped off the roof.
What?
Like to get into the fight. It was just crazy.
Shut up.
It was a tag team match, and they were, and I'm out yelling. You know how you figure that all this. I am serious. You come into the house right now.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
and there's like 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not letting anybody in.
Well, well, the thing is, they'll corner something, but they're smart enough now. We're not touching it.
We're not going to touch
Yeah.
it. We're just going to corner it.
That's right.
Back it into a corner.
They're good at that with rattlesnakes and stuff. They're smarter than I am with that.
Wow. I like it. Okay.
So we were talking the other day. You were talking about I know we have a second. Talking about the A's and the fact that next year they'll be in Sacramento.
Yes.
And I was telling Rosie I have 3 favorite stories. I haven't gone to the Coliseum for years and years, and I was there in the '72 World Series with my friend Bill Mitchell, and they won Game 7, and we were in the bleachers at $8 a ticket, and came over the fence. I slid into second base. And Bill, who was terribly drunk, somehow got in the dugout. and he was in the locker room, sitting on a stool, and Vida Blue says, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Billy Mitchell." And he said, "Well, Billy Mitchell, get out."
Oh, my God.
So they escorted him out.
They escorted
And
him
Vida Blue's kind of a
out.
big guy. That's kind
he's
of
a big
intimidating.
guy. And speaking of escorting people out, my son and I were at an A's game once, and this guy was terribly drunk, and the police came to take him out. He's kind of giving some trouble, and they're handcuffing him, and they're leading him up toward the exit, and my son yells, "Tase him!" And all of a sudden, the entire section is going, "Tase him! Tase him!" And the cop looks over and kind of goes, "Maybe."
Oh, my God. You know what's crazy about the phrase escorted? Like to be escorted? When you're being escorted in, that's like a really good thing.
Yeah,
You know,
but you're right.
Mr. Jacoby was escorted in.
That's right.
To the Giants game, Yankees game, escorted in his suit. He should be wearing a jersey, but he was wearing a suit. Now, Michael Jacoby was escorted out of the game.
Totally different.
Not positive.
Same spelling.
Same word, but very different meaning.
Yes.
In is good, out is not.
No. My other story, I was there with some friends and my father when he was alive, because after he'd passed, there was no reason to take him to an A's game.
No weekend at Bernie's?
You'd have to pay extra seats and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But a buddy of mine says, and my father's nickname was Big Man. He goes, "Hey, Big Man." And he was talking about this woman he knew. And my father says, I'm like 30 years old. And my father says, "Yeah, it reminds me of my first wife." And I went, "What?" And I had absolutely no idea.
Really?
None whatsoever. And I got home and I said to my mother, "Did you?" She goes, "I don't want to talk about it."
Isn't that interesting how people, they kept things, you had a personal life.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when in history when a man had a personal life.
Yep.
And it's not that way anymore. We know everybody's business.
It's
You
crazy.
can't do anything now.
It is indeed crazy.
I was watching. I'd never seen No Country for Old Men.
That's
and I was
not a bad
watching.
movie.
It's great. It was
a
really
great movie,
I was
yeah.
watching it last night. And I kept thinking, God, you know, he finds all this money, all this cash, and then he takes the briefcase with him and goes back and just sticks it underneath like the floorboards of his trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, you could do that. You know, nowadays people would be like, there's a tracker on this thing. There's people following me. Like there's a tracker, you know,
Yeah.
there would be cameras and trackers and whatever. And now it's like, oh, I'll just grab this thing and it's full of money and I'll take it and I'll hide it under the floorboard and no big deal.
Yeah.
It's just a very different, you know, a lot less paranoia like 40 years ago.
That was, Javier Bardem, right?
Bardem,
who was a great character.
Oh, and then
the villain, yeah.
And he had the.
He's the murderer, huh?
But he has the gun that you use
the
to
cattle
put up the
prod.
cattle. Well, it's not a prod; it's to kill the cattle.
the cattle rod or something.
Cattle rod.
The rod.
The
prod maybe
what
better
it
than
does
the rod.
is, it's like, and he used a couple times to punch through a lock.
Yep.
That would take the lock completely out of it.
Easy. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin's the other guy. We
what
love
a great
him.
actor.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
We love him, and his wife is really funny too. There's like a couple videos of her she posted on social media where she's like, dancing and like she's really cute. Very cute.
He plays a character
somebody's
with my
calling
name.
you.
Oh, you got a call.
We do.
You have a phone call.
Well, we have to act more
I'm so
professional.
surprised.
We have to act more professional when the phone rings. Okay. We
boy.
I think answering the phone with the phrase "Holy Mother of God," someone's calling.
Oh,
us.
they hung up.
No.
They hung up. I can try calling him back. Let me see if I can call him
Okay.
back. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, I think it's ringing.
Okay.
I don't really know how this.
Just dialing it.
Oh, okay.
Hi. We were just trying to call you back because I got all excited when you called, and so I thought that's why. I thought maybe you hung up.
A lot of people get excited when I
I
call.
was excited.
That's
I
true.
screamed.
Oh my God! I've won the publishers clearinghouse. I'm going to just retire. No,
Well,
it's just me.
the fact that people get excited when Jim Dotson calls them has nothing to do
No,
with
they
it.
don't.
Nothing
No,
to do
they
with
don't.
his $3.50 a minute to talk to him. But our old friend Jimmy, say hello to Rachel, whom you know, and our friend Brandon.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Hey, Brandon. How are you?
Hello.
You keep packing this studio. There
Oh
with,
my
beautiful
God, we're
voices.
so
What's
excited!
that about?
We're so excited when the phone rings.
It's so exciting.
We're gonna talk about the U.S. Open, which is a hop, skip, and a sandwich from your house in a minute. As we mentioned earlier, Jim is a wonderful author. We talked about Final Rounds and the books on Palmer and Ben Hogan, among other things. But apparently, we are welcoming you to the wonderful world of podcasting.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I've had several offers, people that wanted me to do podcasts, but I never felt really comfortable with the idea. I just am so shy. I just can't talk enough, I guess. So, but these guys were really great. They're veteran. I think they were with Audible. Anyway, they're out there in your part of the world. They're in L.A. And they convinced me they loved a book I wrote called A Son of the Game, which won a Book of the Year, and it's about my love affair with Pinehurst. And so they asked me to do. They wanted 6 1-hour segments podcast, narrative podcast.
And
So
no
they wanted to-
music. This is all narrative, right?
Oh, no. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got all the, for instance, it starts with Payne Stewart's amazing 15-foot pod in 1999. And it's a wonderful, so they have all the, they intersperse it with all, I just tell the story.
Okay.
But the reason it's called the Pinehurst Cure is because, as I say in that book, Harvey Ward, who was a great amateur, probably the greatest amateur nobody's ever heard of, told me he was a great friend. We were going to do a book. He was dying of cancer, but we were going to do a book on him called The Last Amateur. He was a stunning amateur success, two U.S. back-to-back amateurs, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he kept talking. He said to me years and years ago that there's something about Pinehurst that cures things in people. In fact, old man Tufts, in 1895, when he came there from New England, a real do-gooder, he built his resort thinking it would be a place where people could come who had tuberculosis. And the very air had something called ozone that would cure you. So the whole story kind of hangs on this, how Pinehurst has cured a lot of people.
Let's locate it, Jim. Excuse me for interrupting, but let's locate it for the listeners. Near Greensboro.
Yeah. Well, that's up near the Virginia lines. Pinehurst is 75 miles south, down almost near the South Carolina line.
Oh, okay.
And it's in central North Carolina. It's in a part of the thing called the longleaf pine region, which was all sand and these famous old ancient pines that there was nothing there when James Walker Tufts heard that this place down there, and to get there from Raleigh or Greensboro, you actually had sand roads, and it It's like in 1900. And really nothing was there. Nothing would grow. It was sand and pines and scrub. Anyway, so he buys 6,000 acres, and he has this vision of building a dream, a little New England village, which he did. He invented the Arctic soda machine, the first, the soda fountains. He invented that.
Really?
Tufts University is basically the foundation he created with that. And so he builds Pinehurst. He has Frederick Law Olmsted design these curvilinear streets and these cottages and beautiful buildings, old buildings. It's gorgeous. It's kind of a southern Nantucket, but it was always lost in its own world down there. Today, you can get there in an hour and 15 minutes from Greensboro. When I went there, when I was throwing off my dad's golf course for burying my bullseye putter in the green at 13, he took me down there. The next day, he came out, and I was in the backyard hitting sand wedges with my Bobby Jones wedge, and he said, just get your clubs. And we drove 2 hours south down through the winding countryside into this place, and there's this huge white hotel, and these people playing golf with caddies. It was perfect May Day. And he said, you see that golf course there? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, you can't play there. And I said, what do you mean? He said, because you don't know how to behave. That is Pinehurst number 2, the most famous golf course in America that a guy named Donald Ross built. And, of course, that's his masterpiece, and that's where they're going to play the Open. And
now,
so
how many
courses
are there?
Well, there's now 10. They just opened a 10th course that's spectacular that Tom Doak designed. But the podcast is fun because what I do in it is I tell the story. We literally start with Payne Stewart, his amazing. I think it's as I say in the beginning, there's a lot of moments in sports that are unforgettable, but certainly in golf, the most unforgettable is Payne Stewart making the 15-foot putt with Mickelson, and he had to make it.
And it was a particularly emotional scene because he did it to beat Mickelson, and Payne's wife was expecting at the time.
Yeah, Mickelson's wife was.
Oh, was it Mickelson? And then Payne told him. That's right.
Payne already had 2 children. Yeah, he held his face at the end. It's beautiful. And outside of right by the green today is a big statue of Payne because he was killed. He died 2 months later in this freak plane crash. Yeah. And he'd had this spiritual awakening, and I mean, he was, and he was beloved in Pinehurst because he'd been coming through there since he was really a college golfer, and everybody called him our champion. So it's a real touching and poignant story. But what I do is I use that to start it and go all the way back to to Tufts and tell the story. And it's like, for example, Ben Hogan showed up there in 1940. He had never won. He had not won a tournament yet. He was ready to give up the tour. And Byron Nelson, his friend, gave him a new McGregor driver, and Hogan practiced for 2 weeks before the tournament, the North and South Open, and won the tournament. And as he said, it was the first thing that it really saved his career. He felt that Pinehurst was the thing that was the cure for his ready to give up golf.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of stories like that around Pinehurst. And of course, then you have, Michelle Wee wins her only championship there in 2005.
Well, you and I and my son Kennedy, we had lunch out there. We didn't play there, but we played some wonderful courses in your neighborhood while we were there. Yeah. But your dad was right. There is a certain magic, majestic magic, if you will, of that place, and it's another level.
It's unlike any. I think Pine Valley might be the closest thing to it. It's a similar kind of landscape. I mean, it's an ancient seabed, believe it or not, and that's why you have, 6 feet of sand under you, and then you have clay under that. But it's it's a mythical place. Pinehurst is called the home of American golf for a good reason, because every great, except Arnold Palmer, every great golfer has won there. Yeah. Nicklaus won the U.S. Amateur there. So this is the 1,000th USGA championship that the Open is.
No, really? My Lord.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. And so anyway, I'd talk about that. This is the 4th one they've had, and I run through the 3, and there's a lot of great stories in it. So I had fun doing it. I had to write them, and they're like hour-long, like 5,000-word essays essentially, wow. And then they did all the music, and It's got Scottish music in it and great characters and Harvey Ward and people talking. It's really fun. I think it's a great. I'm very proud of the podcast.
Now,
it's not a typical.
Had you done? Did you do audiobooks at all? Did you voice your books?
Yeah, so that was the easier part for me because I wrote the scripts, and when they finished their edits and put all their cool snippets in from media and stuff like that, and it's easy. I read my first 4 books. I did books on tape, so I read them. So this was fun. That was the fun part. I just was a little nervous about how to write for it was like writing a movie script. So,
you know what's really sad, Jim, is our listeners probably are intrigued and would like to hear this, and not everybody can afford to subscribe to get this podcast.
No.
Oh, wait. What do you say?
Free.
It's free.
It's free. There is a new service down here in the Southeast called The Assembly, like you're assembling something. The Assembly, and it's The Assembly Podcast. If you Google The Assembly Podcast, you'll see it. It debuts on June 12th, and it's available at any time, so you can hear all 3 episodes.
Wonderful.
And it's fun. It's free. Yeah, did I say that? Oh, it's free.
Did you
yes,
mention
it?
So what do you go to wherever you get podcasts?
Yes,
and it's
right.
on. But it's not Spotify. You need to download Assembly.
It's not. No, I think you can almost go online and just connect to the Assembly podcast. You can go on like you're getting TED Talks or something.
Okay.
So ASSEMBLY, the Assembly.
Now, what else?
Yeah.
We have been talking about, Rachel, you remember this, and I just woke Rachel. Did we mention food, John?
Oh, do it. Please.
But remember we've been talking about the book he was writing on the wagon trail? On
Yes.
the East
Wagon
Coast?
Road.
Wagon Road.
It became a road after it was a trail.
It's probably a highway by now.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's super highway.
How goes that book?
It's in my editor's hands at Simon & Schuster. He wrote me a beautiful note that said, it's terrific. It's wonderful. It's a narrative and terrific. And that was 6 weeks ago, and I ain't heard boo since. So, but that's the way publishing works. I mean, it's especially in the summer. First off, they all go to the Amalfi Coast or something because they're on vacation. So, I think it's going to come out. I'm going to guess now next spring or next fall because that's how far out they do books. So. But it seems interesting. It's an interesting book because I've had 5 people who read it, and it's really it's the road, as we were talking about the last time, that all the way from Pennsylvania to Georgia that brought 250,000 Scotch, Irish, Germans, Lutherans, Moravians, Quakers, Swiss to the South, and basically one great historian said roughly 30% of Americans have some connection to an ancestor who came down that road. Which is pretty remarkable.
How interesting!
Isn't it wild?
And so
it is. So it's hopefully moving along, but you know how publishing is, so it's pretty crazy.
Well, and how are the plans? Because I know Barney Adams and I are playing in the film version of Final Rounds.
Final Round.
Let's see, we've been talking about that 30
years.
An
odyssey too. Yeah, it's an odyssey. A group called the Chaos Machine Company. There's no studios left, and so this latest incarnation is a guy who wanted the project forever, and I finally gave in to him, and we granted him what they call the it's an interesting instead of just basically he bought the film rights to market the story to one of the leading people like Amazon or MGM or Prime. That's how you do movies apparently today. You don't make there's no studios, so there's no so they got the rights to it, and they're talking with and what I insisted, I wanted a new screenplay because I did it 30 years ago, and I don't want to write another one for it, and I think it needs a fresh eye. So they have that, and they paid for the rights, and they're talking to Amazon reportedly, and talking to Amazon and MGM, and maybe maybe even Prime, and we'll see.
Well, I will.
You know, they've floated all kinds of names. They have your name, Brother Jacoby. It's maybe Optic. You're now old enough. The problem is my dad didn't smoke cigars every 5 minutes. So that's going to be a real problem.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll keep an eye on the weather forecast to see just when hell does freeze over, and we might be able to get to that point. The podcast is called Pinehurst the Cured. It's on the Cure. Pinehurst Cure.
Pinehurst Cure.
Okay.
And the road to the U.S. Open.
All right.
And
it's on Assembly.
Yep. The Assembly podcast. Yes.
Assembly podcast. Jim Dotson.
Yeah.
I was
Very
thinking
cool.
about you the other day as a tribute to the former president.
What were you missing, Putt?
Well, no, as a tribute to the former president, I played 36 holes, but only the first 34 counted. Thank you.
Good. That's good. Did they like what your beautiful memento you took to New York? Did anybody?
I have. We're still waiting to go. The notorious Trump Cup. We're working on it, and
well, especially if he's reelected, it might be worth a lot of money.
Oh Lord, yeah, I have to pay overseas shipping because I'll be in Scotland with you.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be hiding.
Jim Dotson, always a joy. Love to Wendy and the kids, and
yeah, everybody's good.
And what do you got after the Open? You got now. Do they wear the police wear body cameras there just so we're okay?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot. I'm doing five columns during the Open, so it's been crazy. But then I have 2 book projects, major projects. I'm talking to my agent about. One's a giant history of the golden age of golf, which will be it's titled Harry Varden, Bobby Jones, and the rise of American golf, which I'm really excited to write. And then I have a book called Two for the Road about a trip my best buddy and I, 50 years, took golfing our way across England last year in the rains. The rainiest week in the history of England. And it really was. And so, I've got lots of things going on, and I'm just happy to be just writing about my favorite game and talking to my favorite radio folks when you are in the top of that crowd, you and Rachel. So,
yeah. God bless you, my friend. Sure good talking to you, and we will chat soon. I have Scheffler, Morikawa, and Hovland in the Open. Do I have a chance?
I think I love Scheffler, but Pinehurst too is a brute. The last time they had the Open there in 2014, only 2 people were under par, 3 people, but the other 2 were. The guy who won it was 9 under. The others were 1 under, and the rest of the field is like 9, 10 over. It is a very unforgiving. The sand, it's very natural. There's lots of waste areas, and they don't play that kind of game, in the tour.
Yeah.
So it's very different. It's going to be fun to watch. I think of all of them, Schauffele, I think, is a very and Scheffler is a great hitter, but I don't even think Scheffler has shown up to play it. At least someone told me they hadn't seen him in Pinehurst.
Oh, okay.
That could be interesting. I hope it's somebody that has a good story.
Hovland, I would love to see Victor Hovland get a major.
Yeah, he'd be
Seems
great
like
too.
a great kid.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It's
Anyway,
going to be fun to watch, that's for sure.
Jimmy, thank you. Have a great Father's Day, and we'll talk
bud.
soon.
You too, Bubba.
Bye.
See you guys. And
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Rachel.
He is such a good guy.
Yeah, he sounds friendly.
He has a great story. We have a minute. Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
great story in Final Rounds, which is my favorite book in the world. And if you guys ever get a chance, it's not just a golf book. It's about it's a true story of his father was dying of cancer and him taking his dad to St. Andrews, and it's marvelous.
Very cool.
But there's a story in it where an American, the ugly American, says apparently he had a bad shot after the Scottish caddy gave him the club, and he looked at the caddy and said, "You have got to be the worst goddamn caddy on the face of the earth." And the caddy looked at him and said, "Oh, no, sir, that'd be too much of a coincidence." Jim Dotson. Hey, do you want to do a weekend liner notes?
Sure.
You want to do Green Day, or what do you want to do?
Whatever you got,
We'll
mister.
do,
Whatever you
we'll
got.
do Diana Krall. So today I'm going to play the other version of Boulevard Broken Dreams. make that another version. As we pointed out last week, song titles can't be copyrighted. Hence, Green Day's performance of a very different tune. The one recorded in 1996 is by Dinah Krall and has become an American songbook mainstay over the years. In fact, I saw Tony Bennett perform it in the city a few years ago, and even at 90, it was sublime. I walked along the streets of sorrow, the boulevard of broken dreams, where gigolo and gigolette could take a kiss without regret, so they forget their broken dreams. Written in 1933 by Al Dubin and Harry Warren, it is both complex and haunting, and not a particularly easy song to sing. Krall, practically a jazz icon since her debut in the early 90s, has won 3 Grammys, has earned 9 gold and 7 multi-platinum albums. Here is where you'll always find me, always walking up and down, but I left my soul behind me in an old cathedral town. From the Nat Cole Tribute LP, All For You, this is one fabulous recording of a wonderful standard by any name. Enjoy.
I walk along the street of sorrow, the boulevard of broken dreams, where gigolo and gigolette can take a kiss without regret, so they forget their broken dreams. You laugh tonight and cry tomorrow when you behold your shattered dreams. And gigolo and gigolette awake to find their eyes are wet with tears that tell of broken dreams. Here is where you'll always find me, always walking up and down. But I left my soul behind me in an old cathedral town. The joy that you find here you borrow. You cannot keep it long, it seems. But gigolo and gigolette still sing a song and dance along the boulevard of broken dreams. soul behind me in an old cathedral town. The joy that you find here you borrow. You cannot keep it long, it seems. But Gigolo and Gigolette still sing a song and dance along the boulevard of broken dreams.
Diana Krall. Oh, that version of Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Very good.
What should I do? I'm going to do...
So what's going on? I want to know what you're doing for your birthday.
I'm going to just...
She hasn't said one word about his birthday. You noticed that?
I didn't know.
See, Brandon didn't even know.
I can't believe the marching band isn't here yet. Oh, no, they got towed. That's good.
He's changed.
It's going to be a quiet... I was going to do a movie in the yard and invite you guys, but it would require cutting the lawn. Maybe next year we'll do that.
Maybe next year.
No, I don't know. It's because my birthday. I was born on Father's Day.
You were born on Father's
so
Day.
Next year my birthday is on Father's Day again.
Yeah.
But that's traditionally the weekend of the U.S. Open, so I'm just going to kick back, watch a little golf.
Nice.
Good.
And maybe we'll, if we could find some raw hot dogs and cooked bacon, we could make that together.
We could do that.
Are they raw?
I just don't know anything about that. There's raw sausages. I'm not that
There
far
are.
off. So it's just the hot dog term isn't a hot dog a sausage?
It's basically just bologna.
A hot dog is
It's
bologna?
beef, isn't it? It varies. They're
Yeah,
beef
it
hot
varies.
dogs.
Yes, there are.
You guys don't even know.
What was the?
You don't even know what it is. Both
What
of
was
you.
the hot
Look
dog
at you
brand?
looking at each other. You have no
the
idea.
hot dog brand, the kosher one?
Oh, Hebrew National.
Hebrew National, which had the great tagline that we answered to a higher
Higher
authority.
Oh my god,
Which I thought was great.
man!
So anyway, that's my plans. What are you going to do? You do something nice for your dad.
For your birthday?
No, for your dad.
Oh, for Father's Day, I will do something nice for my dad for sure. Absolutely.
And by the way, have you been over to see Ted?
I haven't
At
yet.
Shadowbrook?
No,
Mary
maybe I'll
and
take
I
him to
stopped
Ted.
in. We did what you suggested. Sat in the bar.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
nice?
it's lovely.
It's
We
so
did
nice. Inside or outside?
There's an outside bar.
There's an outside, yeah.
There
Well,
are
not a bar,
7
but
dining room. Oh.
not a bar, but there's like a patio that's like affiliated with the bar. You order from the bar menu.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, you can order from the bar menu or the restaurant menu
Really?
on the patio.
Well, he came over and says, "What are you drinking?" And I said, "Whatever you're buying." He goes, "All right." So
Wow.
and he's going. I think. Were you here when we were talking when Ted was in the studio with us from Shadowbrook?
No.
He's going to the game later in the month in Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
With
he
the
is?
Giant game.
Pretty
And
cool.
against the Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah. And which apparently I see on MLB that there are tickets still available.
Really?
Packages at $1,700, for one night or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Something
But it'd be
ridiculous.
very hip to go to that.
I was talking to a guy
Biggest
a couple
night in
weeks
Alabama
ago.
history.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago who's a very big baseball fan, and he had done a little tour, baseball tour. And where did he go? Cooperstown.
Oh, which is
And
marvelous.
he was impressed that I knew what that
That's
was.
right.
That's good.
I mean, I know nothing about a lot, but I knew that.
I'll tell you a very quick story about being in Alabama. We used to do some, we still do some work for San Jose State, the restaurants I'm involved in, and we used to go back to games, away games, and we went back to Tuscaloosa once.
Okay.
To an Alabama game, which was insane. But
Yes.
I mean, but what I would do this little shtick where I would wear my San Jose State hat,
Yeah.
and then I'd look for with my buddy, and then I'd look for the biggest barbecue. It'd be a barbecue with a full bar, pig on a spit and stuff.
Yep.
And I would walk up. I said, "Excuse me, can I ask you a quick question?" He says, "Well, of course." I said, we're from out of town. Well, welcome. I said, I have just heard that the most hospitable people in the conference are at Auburn. Am I wrong on that?
That's how you get, like, stabbed.
They'd go, "You bring your friend, you bring him in here, and you have whatever you want. Walk up to them, give these guys drinks." And I have done this in Illinois, I've done it in Idaho, so it's the great secret. Anyway.
Love it.
Yeah. It's how you. I mean, I would have thought I would have been murdered that day if I
Really?
had tried that. Yes.
Okay.
Alabama's an odd place. It's a forest, is what essentially it is. You drive
Really?
for hours through. It's all pine trees. Yeah.
Wow.
Since I think I was in Alabama.
Trees. Lots of trees.
Good.
Pine
If you listen to Dotson, this place, North Carolina, is like the moon.
I know.
Nothing grows. Nothing.
Nothing
Sand
grows.
everywhere.
People come here. No, I didn't have tuberculosis until I got here. This is that's one of those strange places people come there for tuberculosis.
Yes.
You got an A-train?
I do. I always do.
All right. Well,
What do you
next
got?
week, quick reminder, the folks in the Veterans Transition Center will be a fascinating hour. So we're looking forward to that. And they've got 4th of July. You guys should come over to the big celebration of freedom at Rancho Cielo.
I would love it.
And it's going to be Carolyn Sills
Oh, my
is
goodness.
playing that night.
Wow.
So we're excited. So it'll be a fun day.
So do I just show up or do I have to buy tickets?
No, I'll take care of you. We keep talking about it here, and trust
Oh.
me, by the end of the show next week, we'll get you an invitation.
Oh, well, we'll try. See how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
As the A-Train's on its way in, we're on our way out. As always, this show has been for Mark, for Georgianne, and for you. Until next Saturday at noon here on Santa Cruz Voice and anytime on Spotify, when we once again raise the standards. I'm Jacoby. I'll see you soon.
Hurry, 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 take the A-train to get to Sugar Hill way up in Harlem. If you should take the A-train, you get to where you're going in a hurry. Hurry, 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 now it's coming. Can't you hear the rails are humming? Leota, if you should miss the A-train,